In December 2017, Cyril Ramaphosa launched the CR17 campaign at the ANC's 54th National Conference in Nasrec, Johannesburg, with a reported war chest of more than 400 million rand. CR17 was not just a campaign, it was a machine. It relied on a meticulously built network of loyalty, influence, and provincial power structures that remain central to South African politics today. The ANC presidency was the gateway to state power. To win, one had to secure regional strongholds, especially KwaZulu-Natal, the largest delegation with 870 voting delegates, while building legitimacy through the ANC's powerful National Executive Committee. Ramaphosa, strategist-in-chief, managed campaign finances, coordinated provincial support, and positioned himself as the reform candidate, promising to root out corruption and attract investment. His rival, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, carried Jacob Zuma's backing, but CR17 pitched itself as the clean alternative. Behind the scenes, a tight-knit team orchestrated the campaign's muscle. The first key player was Senzo Mchunu in KwaZulu-Natal. Once sidelined by Zuma's allies, he redirected grassroots energy to CR17, breaking Dlamini-Zuma's dominance in her home base. Mchunu mobilized supporters in provincial structures, providing critical ground-level momentum. Then came Baki Cele, the former National Police Commissioner, who acted as the enforcer. Drawing on influence in policing and ANC structures, Cele secured branch-level loyalty and disciplined potential dissent. This triad, Ramaphosa at the top, Mchunu on the ground, and Cele enforcing order, formed the backbone of CR17. Critics now argue that this network is connected to the 121 sensitive case dockets, files involving corruption and political assassinations. The allegation is that the same loyalty structures that delivered Ramaphosa's victory later intersected with policing and criminal investigations. Ramaphosa himself defended his distance from campaign finances. According to him, managers made a deliberate decision to shield him from knowing donors, creating what intelligence experts call plausible deniability. This firewall meant he could later deny any direct involvement if controversial funding sources were exposed. Ramaphosa admitted he contributed personally to campaign expenses but insisted he never knew who else gave money, nor how it was managed. One of the most controversial donations was linked to the late Gavin Watson of Bosasa, though Ramaphosa maintained he never directly solicited it. The public protector investigated, but no conclusive evidence tied him personally to Bosasa's money. Ramaphosa emphasized that funds were used for logistics, transporting supporters, hosting meetings, providing campaign material, t-shirts, caps, banners, not buying votes. Yet, in South Africa's political culture, large untraceable cash flows inevitably raise suspicions. In political science, money equals mobilization. Campaigns convert cash into loyalty through logistics, incentives, and visibility. CR17 embodied this resource mobilization theory, though its managers recorded every transaction meticulously to avoid exposure. By some accounts, more than 300 million rand was raised, though rumors placed the figure closer to a billion. Either way, the scale was unprecedented. Fast forward to 2024 and 2025. The same loyalty network appeared to shape law enforcement. In July 2024, Baki Cele was appointed Minister of Police. A year later, on the 13th of July, 2025, President Ramaphosa suspended him after explosive allegations from KwaZulu-Natal Commissioner Lieutenant General Nalanha Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi claimed Cele interfered with task teams probing political killings and even received payments from criminal syndicates. Though removed from office, Cele remained deeply influential. Investigations linked him to multimillion rand tenders and to the 121 dockets, cases so sensitive they reportedly contain evidence on political assassinations and high-level corruption. News 24 further revealed Cele enjoyed luxury stays at properties tied to businessman Vusi Madlala, despite publicly denying any friendship. Madlala himself, based in KwaZulu-Natal, was linked to a 360 million rand SAPS Health Services contract. Reports raised red flags about irregularities, suggesting political influence may have smoothed the deal. Analysts speculated Madlala provided financial perks, luxury accommodation, business opportunities, to cultivate protection from figures like Cele. His security company's ties to the police further fueled suspicions. Phone records later showed that on the day of his arrest, Cyril attempted to call Madlala, but the calls went unanswered. Some believe this was an effort to warn him. Others say Madlala was already in custody. Regardless, the failed communication added to speculation of a deep nexus of corruption. Critics argue Ramaphosa benefited indirectly from this network. Though he insists on his ignorance of donor identities, intermediaries like Cyril may have channeled funds from controversial sources. Ramaphosa himself acknowledged contributing around 20 million rand of his own money, but with a campaign this vast, external money inevitably flowed in, from both clean and questionable pockets. This distancing tactic, maintaining deniability while allies handled finances, remains Ramaphosa's shield. Yet, as president, his appointments reinforced the loyalty web. Keeping figures like Cyril close meant political debts carried forward into government, potentially influencing law enforcement itself. The controversy reached boiling point with the 121 dockets. These files, originally from KwaZulu-Natal, reportedly contain evidence linking politicians, criminal networks, and political killings. Their movement and the disbanding of investigative task teams suggested blatant political interference. Critics believe access to these dockets was deliberately controlled to protect senior figures. In response, Ramaphosa initiated the Malanga Commission of Inquiry, signaling a desire to address corruption and police capture. However, the commission's progress has been slow, raising doubts about whether it can overcome entrenched networks. Supporters argue Ramaphosa is trying to clean up the system. Detractors claim he is managing optics while shielding allies. The stakes are high. If the dockets are fully exposed, they could implicate multiple high-ranking politicians, shaking the ANC and perhaps the government itself. For now, the files remain tightly guarded, with leaks and speculation fueling public suspicion. What emerges is a picture of continuity. The CR17 campaign structures, designed to win an internal ANC election, may have evolved into networks shielding powerful figures from accountability. Ramaphosa portrays himself as a reformer, but his dependence on the very networks under scrutiny blurs the line between leadership and liability. As South Africa awaits the Malanga Commission's findings, the central question remains: can the president separate himself from the shadows of CR17, or will history judge him as a beneficiary of the same corruption he vowed to fight? The answer may lie buried in those 121 dockets, files that could either vindicate Ramaphosa or expose the true cost of his rise to power.